What's up, everybody? This is Sean Ferrer. This is going to be my second podcast, so I'm kind of excited. Got some news to talk about. Got a few, once again, leftist theories that I love to debunk. But, with no further ado, let's go right into the daily news. Okay, so today there was a shooting in Colorado. And it was a mass shooting. It's evil. It's horrible. I mean, people lost their lives, including a police officer. Not to say that the police officer is more important than the civilians that lost their lives. Nothing like that. Just saying. Wanted to point that out. That including a police officer that the mainstream media is actually portraying as, he was a heroine. He went out of his way to try and save these people, which, to me, very admirable. I back the blue. That being said, there's another news story that the mainstream media is not covering. What I think is hilarious is the idea that they're not covering it. Okay, and this is the reason why. Okay, it's in New York. It's in upstate New York. Okay, and I really don't like to say the names of people. And the reason why is because, all it does is give them fame, and I'm good with giving people fame. Not my thing. Okay, but what I will say is, this person, once again, it's written in the report, resisting arrest, inflicting violence on the police, this and that. He's shot and killed. Okay, and Black Lives Matter decides to protest in this town because of this. Okay, and what they do is they go to a supermarket and they shut down the supermarket and block the entrance doors. So therefore 100 different shoppers are sitting in the store and they can't leave. Now, do you think that this is what protest is supposed to be? Peaceful protest is something that they did in the 60s. It was actually really good. And it led to great achievements like Jim Crow. The desegregation of the black community and the white community. You know what I mean? If I sit down at a table at a restaurant and a black guy sits next to me, I'm not going to care. Just another guy. Doesn't matter. But at the same time, what's going on is, this movement, what they're doing is they're trying to push a narrative that makes them segregate themselves. And I don't understand this, because like I've stated before in my last podcast, the black community is so much better than this. I have met black men and women that are, so intelligent and know what's going on and understand the world, and they are the tip of the friggin' sword. So I'm trying to figure out how this narrative got pushed by the left and how far they're willing to take it at this point. Think about it. To trap 100 patrons in a store, tell them they're not allowed to leave because they're shutting this bitch down. That was the whole text for the article. That's what they were chanting. Kind of makes you wonder, who's on the right side? And I know for a fact I'll probably get comments on this, and they'll immediately go, oh, well, it was Trump supporters that broke into the Capitol and stuff. It was 6 Trump supporters. It wasn't riots for months and months. It wasn't, zones that they took over. It wasn't defund the police. It wasn't any of that. A few idiots on the right side of the aisle were basically pissed off and being stupid. And that's what happened. Yes, I do understand that One officer, I believe it's confirmed that one officer and one protester lost their lives in the Capitol riots. Okay? Here's the problem that I have. In the BLM and Antifa riots, there were several, I won't even say many, several, not a few, not one, not two, not three, but like several people that lost their lives in those riots. In Kenosha, in Portland. I mean, come on. And like, you know, I titled my last podcast as the culturally woke Republican. And the reason why is because just being a conservative Republican doesn't mean that I don't study culture. Like, I want to see how the United States is actually moving. I want to know. I want to be informed. And by being informed, my politics gets better, so to speak. The more information I know, the more I'm able to pass on to you. Everything gets better. But at the same time, I mean, how can any of us with any type of sane moral mind agree to any of this? I mean, the media has gotten to the point where if any story does not fit their radical racist narrative, they're not going to report it. Not even going to hear about it. I said about another story on my last podcast. Matter of fact, watched every single news portal on my Roku. Could not find that story. But it was news. Whatever the races were, it was still news. You know? That's the part that baffles me. That's the part that makes me go, what the hell is going on? I remember when I was a kid, you know, you sat and actually watched the nightly news with your parents. Because that's how you got your information. And even back then, though, they would twist things, they'd move things, but it was at least reported accurately. Like, yes, you know, it was this person or that person, they were of this descent, that descent, male or female. This is what happened. This is what we've gathered. It's a breaking news story, and we'll tell you more tomorrow. There you go. That's how it was. The idea that if you're not woke, you have to sit back and just accept what's going on is complete bullshit. Complete bullshit. Like, there's no reason. No want, no reason. I mean, really? Really? This is what we're reported on. These are the journalists. It's so much journalism going on there. Mm-hmm. You know, if you really want me to get back into politics, I mean, look who we have as a press secretary. Psaki? This woman cannot even attempt to cover up more for Biden than she's already has. Jen Psaki actually did say something in a press briefing the other day that I thought was really great. Because one of the biggest narratives and lies that the Biden administration has been putting out is the idea that there's no crisis at the border. Nope. Nothing going on here, folks. Nothing to see. Move along. Move along. They wouldn't even let the press into these camps. The reason why, they didn't want them to see what was going on. But apparently, now I wish that I actually had the budget or the money or even the tech savviness to be able to like put up clips in this video of the pictures that I saw from the Daily Wire today, which actually is a real news reporting, you know, place. If you ever get the chance, go subscribe. They'll I'm giving a plug for Ben Shapiro, but they'll give you if you do a year subscription, they'll give you this little tumbler, which is like really superior. Like, apparently the quality of this thing is like, whoo, way out there. But it says leftist tears on it, and that's the only reason why I want it. It's just for the simple fact that I know Ben tells me and Michael Knowles tells me all the time that this tumbler fills up every single day, and I believe that. So, that being said, let's move on. Now, as I've said before, one of the things that I learned from sociology is the idea that people will follow a specific narrative or a specific curve in order to think that they are going to be culturally awake. That actually comes from Freud. But I listen to a lot of news portals. I listen to a lot. On both sides of the aisle. And the reason why is because I need to figure out who's lying and who's not. That's really what it comes down to. Now, a lot of people, since I've been doing this now, they completely do not agree with everything that I say. And you know what? And that is absolutely fine. But I do believe in everything that I'm saying right now. The crisis at the border is just the beginning. You think that it's going to end there? Not at all. It's just going to get worse. Okay? I mean, the devaluation of our dollar in the United States, our economy is going to crumble. We're going to end up in another recession. You know, apparently, I guess maybe this is just going to be like another, like a 5 or an 8 year track record in this country all of a sudden. Because, I mean, 2008, I was losing my job because of the recession. Well, now here, I mean, yeah, all right, it's 2021. Oh, I'm sorry, I was a few years off. Maybe it's a little bit of a longer stretch. Yeah. But, I mean, and not only that, but the left always loves to keep the coronavirus thing up. Okay, that's one of their things right now. And the reason why is because they have the power now, and they know it, and they don't want to let go of it. It's really what it comes down to. Okay? But, you know, they always keep up the narrative on, oh, COVID is so bad, what are we ever going to do? But they have no problem with putting a border policy in place that says they don't have to be tested until they're let into the interior of the United States. Strange. Now, to think about that, you have to like sit back and go, okay, if you're going to push this narrative on, you know, how even though we're sending out millions of vaccinations a day, my love interest is about to get her vaccination on the 29th of this month. And that's in Texas. So, you know, that just makes me go, okay, we're sending out millions of vaccinations. You know, a lot of people have actually already gotten this thing. Okay, which actually, by the science, Dr. Fauci, okay, by the science, that says that they're immune to it at this point. Which means that we're gaining herd immunity. That's what we're gaining. This is a medical scientific term that we do for disease, infection, which I hate when people call this a disease. It's not a disease. I have lupus. That's called a disease. Okay, a virus is a virus. That's what influenza is, and that's basically what this is. It's just a deadlier form of it, and it's very catchy. There you go. That's COVID-19, folks. Now, so they're allowing these people into the interior. Okay? So, why? For what? Not only that, but, you know, if you guys actually get a chance, go on the internet and look up Kids in Cages by Biden. Because you thought Donald Trump really did so much of a bad job when he had like 12 kids in like a, you know, it was basically a cage. But it was the facility, the same one Biden's using right now. But he had like 12 kids in this giant friggin' cage. I mean, it's huge. I've seen the pictures. Okay, you look at it now, and they're talking about, they're saying that, oh, well, we need to lock down on our facilities because of COVID-19 and we need to have social distancing and this and that. These kids are literally sleeping right next to each other on cots on the floor, and there's like 100 of them in the same cage. Now you tell me how that foreign policy or that border policy is benefiting humanity. Explain to me how that's happening. I'll wait. Got all the time in the world. I don't understand where the left is thinking these days. I mean, Cardi B can basically put a strip show on the Grammys, but Dr. Seuss is offensive? How does all this work? I mean, is there like some fantasy land that all these people live in and like I'm not part of? Because all I keep thinking to myself is, well, shit. Mushrooms are gone, can't do drugs. Well, I'd like to live in this fantasy land for a little while. I don't know, folks. I mean, what I am saying is, I really hope that America wakes up. I really do. Because, we're a lot stronger together than we are divided. I understand that. And the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few, or the one. So, that being said, I'm really hoping that, I don't know, some of this podcast, this little show that I have apparently, actually gets to someone, makes them think. That would be cool. I don't really care about subscribers. I don't care about followers. If you do follow it, awesome. If you subscribe, I'd be impressed. But at the same time, that's not what I'm here for. I'm here to educate. I want people to know what's going on. That's the only way we win. That's the only way we win in life, is to have knowledge and give it away. That being said, everybody, I'm Sean Ferrer. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Bye.